Hello students, my name is Kumari Shilpi. I am an assistant professor in Department of Management and Commerce, Mewar University. We already completed till lecture 5 on the subject Industries Relations and Labor Enactment. Today we are going to complete lecture 6 on this. What are the topic today? We are going to understand about what is the role of state or we can say government in industrial relation. Then let's begin. So if we are talking about the role of state in industrial relation, in the system of industrial relations, state government act as a regulator and judge. Further, not only the central government, but also the state and regional level do influence the system of industrial relations. Also, the other functionaries of the state, like the executives and judiciary, has a definite impact on the system. If we are talking about the traditional role of the state, we can able to understand that there are historical 6 roles. So let's move toward that. The first one is laissez-faire. So during the 19th century, the government plays a laissez-faire role in industrial relations. It was reluctant to intervene in settle any dispute or indicate any interest in welfare of the workers. The workers and employers were left alone to manage their affairs. So this one is the first role of the state. Let's move toward the second point, that is paternalism. So by the end of the 19th century, the laissez-faire role of government was replaced by the paternalism. So thinkers like Robert Owen, Ruskin and others attracted the attention of public and the government toward the inhuman working conditions in the factories, mines, plantation where there are more and more workers are engaged. So the government tended to make several enactments to govern the working conditions, wages and benefits and formation of trade unions. Next one is tripartism. So even prior to the independence, there existed a tripartite form of consultation on the model of the ILO, International Labour Organization conferences. After independence, several such forums were formed. The major tripartite bodies formed included Indian Labour Conference, Standing Labour Committee, Industrial Committees for Specific Industries, short-lived National Apex Body 1975, etc. The government promote the consultation and concerned parties prior to taking any policy decision in industrial relations to bring out any legislation. If we are talking about the next one, that is encouragement or the voluntarism, the government also promote voluntarism, including a series or involving series of codes to regular labor management relations. These codes include code of discipline, code of conduct, and code of efficiency and welfare. Specifically, the code of discipline encouraged the voluntary arbitration and help maintaining discipline at work. If we are talking about the next fifth role, that is interventionism. So the government also plays an interventionist role. The intervention is in the form of conciliation and adjudication. So the Industrial Dispute Act 1947 provides such measures to intervene the industrial disputes. Next point is employer. So the government also plays the role of the largest employer. The performance of this role influences labor policy obviously. Also, obviously, the government takes into the consideration about the interest of the public sector while framing its policy. So in the recent year, the state has played an important role in regulating the industrial relations in various countries, but the extent of its involvement in the process is determined by the level of social and economic development in the country. The mode of state intervention is greatly basically influenced by the political system in the country, also by the economic development. If we'll take the example, the developing country like India, work stoppage to settle claim have more serious consequences than in the developed economy. Similarly, a free market economy, if we are talking about, leave the parties free to settle their relations through the strike, logouts, but in other system it may vary. So we can say that the state intervention is required for building up sound industrial relations. So the power assumed by the state to regulate labor relations totally different or vary from country to country. In some countries, it has taken the form of laying down bare rules for observance by the management and workers, while in the other, the rules cover a wide area of relationship, and there is an equally greater supervision over the enforcement of these laws. Example, in United Kingdom, the industrial relationship system has been marked by the primary of free collective bargaining between the parties. Dispute relating to jurisdiction are mainly on the internal matter for the British Trade Union Congress. If we are talking about USA, so I am giving you the examples of various countries. So in USA, the state has confined itself to enacting the legislation for ensuring the workers' right to organize and bargain collectively. It constituted on independent authority to administer, interpret the legal provisions and decide the complaints which is regarding the unfair labor trade practices. If we are talking about the next country, that is Australia, so they have a long tradition state regulation in field of industrial relation. Okay, so the government intervenes through the Commonwealth Conciliation and Arbitration Commission for settlement of disputes and also through the industrial code. So there is a fair scope for the collective bargaining also. If we are talking about India, so the state in field of this industrial relation is assumed that is more direct form. The state has enacted procedural as well as the substantive law to regulate the industrial relations in the country. So in the developing country like India, the state intervention is very, very important. And why it is important? Let's move toward it. So first of all, let's understand what is state intervention. So state interventions into the labor policies in India directed because of both providing job security and income security to the workers. So extent of, obviously I already told you that the state intervention is totally depend upon the situation of the country, how the what kind of social and economic development or economic situation the countries have. So why we have the state intervention? So the reason behind it is the first one is the labor organization is relatively weak. So the labor organization, however, have numerously relatively weak. There has been a profound distrust of the employer as a profit of seeking exploiter. So therefore, government has played a major role in industrial relation because it cannot depend on the bi-period negotiation and confrontations of labor management over the years. So because of the labor organization is weak, so they are not able to ask for their interest or they are not able to demand. So that is one of the reasons that the government intervene in the developing country like India in the industrial relation. If we are talking about the next point, that is the labor situation is basically worse. So when the labor situation worsens or the law and order situations gets out of the hand and the state intervenes, as the guardian of the people and economy of the country, the government have right. It has intervened and adopt the various industrial relations policies which will ensure the social justice and the industrial peace. So the government want a proper economic development, industrial peace, social justice for the workers. So this is also one of the reasons that basically the government intervene when the workers are exploited and their situation is worsened and their interest is not protected. Next one is federal nature of the constitution. So the federal nature of the constitution has made it imperative for the state to intervene in the labor matters to ensure the smooth and continuing production. So we can say that the constitution is also one of the reasons that there are so many rights and so many protection type is provided by it, that how we can protect the interest of the laborers. Next point is the directive principles. So the directive principle of constitutions enjoy upon the state to establish a welfare state and to look after the weaker section of the society. So the directive principles of the constitution also plays an important role. If we are talking about the next one, that is based on the nation's political doctrine, so it may therefore be seen that state intervention in industrial relations varies according to the nation's political doctrine, traditions, economic as well as the social condition. However, the state intervention in any form helped in the preventing the severe exploitation which can be happened with the different classes and also promote the industrial peace. So we can say that there are Constitution of India have evolution of the labor policy. The labor policy has been influenced by changing situation, core factor remain unchanged. So in India, the labor organization is always relatively weak and lacking trust in the employers uh, for the profit making exploiters. So the government visualized the rapid industrial growth and productivity demanded, and its major role in involving the suitable framework to prevent the industrial disputes. The major source of documents of the Indian labor policy, if we'll talk, there are the directive principles. So labor policies are basically based on so many, like the government includes some of the things which they are basically using for making the labor policy. First one is the directive principles of the state policy. So directive principle of state policy, which is there in the article, which is there in constitution, and the article is 39, 41, 42, 43, and 43A, which relate the government policies pertaining to the labor. So article 39 asserts the state shall, like there is a things which is provided, the terms which is provided for making the labor policy. In article 39 it is written that there is a equal pay or equal work for both men and women. So there should be no discrimination on the basis of gender. So this is the first point which is given under the article 39. Health and strength of workers, men, women, and the tender age of children are not forced for any economic necessity or enter into avocation. So we can say that the health and strength of work and men are very important, and the children are not at all included for any economic necessity. Next point is, if we are talking, the article 42 also specifies some of the factors. So I am talking about all the article which is there in the Constitution of India. So article 42 saying the state shall make provision for securing just and human conditions of work and maternity. So we can say relief or leave. So we can say that the provision should be there that the human conditions need to be concerned, and the maternity leaves and relief should be provided to women workers. If we are talking about Article 43, so the state shall endeavor to secure the suitable legislation or economic organization or in any other way to all workers, agricultural, industrial, otherwise work, living wages, condition, decent standard life, full enjoyment of leisure, and social and cultural opportunities. So the state shall endeavor to promote the cottage industry. So in Article 43, in short, we understand that it is consist of all the workers who are there in the agriculture industries have provide a proper living wages. They should enjoy a proper life, proper living standard. Their working conditions should be right, as well as it is this article also promoting the cottage industries, which I already discussed in one of the subjects. So cottage industries are those industries which are the home-based industries in the rural areas. The family business which is going on, that is kind of small business type. If we are talking about the other point, so the worker participation is also important. So worker in Article 43A, if we are talking, so the state shall have right to take the proper steps to make or secure the participation of workers in management of undertakings, establishment and organizational engagement in industry. Okay, so the worker participation in management become a part of the directive principle. We can say that. Okay, so the plan document should be there. So there are so many factors like why government need to intervene in the labor policies, in the we can say industrial relation. What are the benefits? Why government are intervening in developing countries? Hope these all points are clear to all of you. Let's meet in the next lecture. Hope you guys enjoyed this lecture. Thank you so much.